And welcome to Under Center with Kirk Cousins.
Cousins from under center, straight drop, it's another deep shot, center of the field, caught on the run, 20, 15, 10, touchdown!
Well, Kirk, when you think of someone who's so valuable and so versatile as a component in your offense, our guest today comes first to mind, of course, fullback C.J. Hammond. We're really pleased to have C.J. as part of Under Center with Kirk Cousins today.
CJ, thanks for joining us, man. I think so much of you as a player and as a person, so it's great to have you on the show finally. Let's start with the big play from yesterday. Can you break down the touchdown for us and kind of describe to the fans what happened on the play and how you were able to get in the end zone?
Yeah, great play call, obviously, and then great ball by Kirk. But I was able to sneak out into the flat. There was a blitzer coming off the edge, and he knocked me off course just a little bit, but not enough. And Kirk saw me, dumped it off to me, and Adam really had a great block down the field. I was pretty much untouched until I got to the goal line, and Adam held up for probably about 5 seconds. It feels like the play felt like it was like 5 seconds long, and I was able to get into the end zone.
Well, you're being a little modest there because when you caught it and you turned upfield, I knew we had a gain. I could see we had we're going to be down inside the 5. But I thought went through my head as I'm just now a spectator watching. I thought, it's going to be interesting to see here if CJ can get in, because we're going to find out how good he really is if he can get in here. And sure enough, you got in, because I thought it wasn't as easy as you made it sound. That was, for a lot of guys, that's a tackle at the 2-yard line. So talk about a little bit of your, finishing that play and your background as a running back and how it's probably more natural to you to be in that position than the average fan realizes.
Like you just said, I played running back pretty much my whole career leading up to the pros. And, in that position, we're always taught to fall forward. Always put guys on your hip and fall forward. And I've been taught that ever since I was a kid. And, like I said, Adam had a great block, and I knew I had a little bit of a seam and kind of just propelled myself forward. And the guy fell off my hip.
So what was the transition like when you were a tailback? You played tailback in your first preseason here with the Vikings. You play well enough to make the team as an undrafted rookie. You play that whole year as a true H-back, running back. How did the transition to fullback happen, and how did you feel at the time, and what was that like?
I was happy to do it, first off, but I knew once we brought in Latavius, that was the year we signed Latavius, then watching the draft, we drafted DALVIN. I was sitting at home like, I don't know. I don't know what's about to happen. We got some pretty good guys. I'm definitely going to compete, but we'll see what happens. And then shortly after all that happened, we had brought in KP as the running back coach, and he gave me a call and said he wanted me to learn fullback this offseason. And to me, I was like, that's kind of how I thought I was going to make it to the league anyways, was fullback. So I was grateful when the Vikings gave me the shot as a running back anyways, and I was just happy to do it.
Now you get to block for one of the best running backs in the NFL. What is that like, knowing that as you lead block, you're opening the door for a guy who, if he gets a seam, he's gone? What's it like blocking for DALVIN and for the other guys, Booney and Alex and Amir?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I mean, we got a very, very talented room. With DALVIN at the head, we know how special of a player he is, and he really makes our job easy. It's one of those things where you sometimes don't have to do your job, 100%. You can just get a hand on a guy, and it's just enough for DALVIN to get by, and to know your block helped him spring, a long play or a touchdown. It's definitely rewarding, and DALVIN does a good job of giving us all our props, and we definitely appreciate him.
Does it matter if a different running back is in? Will you block differently, or will it always be the same regardless of who's behind you?
Yeah, a good question. It's always the same. No matter what, it's always to go out there, stick true to my technique as best as I can, and try to blow guys up. That's pretty much the name of the game.
Are you ever tempted to put on a neck roll and use the intimidation factor of more pads?
I've thought about this, but the running back in me just cannot pull myself to put on a neck roll. I have, look, nothing against neck rolls. I just have to somewhat look like I'm like I can carry the ball just a little bit.
Well, you've made yourself into such a fullback that last year you went to the Pro Bowl, well-deserved. And you're one of the several players on our offense that if we wanted to feature you more, needed to feature you more, you'd answer the call just like you did on Sunday's game. Talk about going to your first Pro Bowl and what that experience was like.
Oh yeah, that was a blessing. It was a dream come true. Growing up, you wanna make it to the pros, and after that, you want to be one of the best at your position. Always watching those guys play in Hawaii. Bringing all their families out there looked like a really fun time. So to get that same type of experience going to Orlando, being able to bring my family there. I've never been to Disney before. Most of my family's never been to Florida before, so it was just fun to share that experience with my family and my mom specifically.
So Adam gets a lot of attention for being, Mr. Minnesota. He grew up here, went to college here in the state, makes the Vikings undrafted, and now has gone on to become a Pro Bowl player. But really, the story is the same for you. I mean, you grew up here in Duluth. You are under-recruited, and you end up going to Augustana in Sioux Falls and come back to the Vikings and have now been a Pro Bowler. So do you ever look back and just kind of pinch yourself as to how the journey's played out and how unlikely it was that it would end up where it has?
Yeah, a handful of times. Me and my wife and I, Steph, will kind of just sit here and kind of just think about it is kind of crazy. The things, how everything shook out and where we are now as a family, and having kids, and just if this was 5 years ago, I wouldn't tell you this was going to happen. Wow. And that's the thing about life is you kind of just roll with what it gives you, and God has just continued to bless us.
So growing up, were you a Vikings fan up in Duluth? And if so, what were the teams or the players that you most followed or remember?
Yeah, I was a Vikings fan. As a kid, I was more of a player fan. So I just loved a whole bunch of different players. But being in Minnesota, watching the Randy Moss, Chris Carter, I used to wear his jersey all over the place. I wanted to be a receiver, and very quickly I realized that was not in my books. But other than that, Jerome Bettis was one of my favorite players growing up the bus. I was trying to be like him. But Adrian Peterson, that's it. I wore 28 in college, for that reason. So definitely a Vikings fan, and definitely blessed to have been here for 5 years now.
CJ, can you talk about your My Cause, My Cleats initiative from Sunday? We all wore different cleats representing different nonprofit organizations in the community. What was the cause that you picked?
I chose to, for the second year, represent PanCAN, Pancreatic Cancer Action Network, with my mom being diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, about 2 years ago, and losing her battle with pancreatic cancer about 6 months ago. It's hard, but it's something that I want to be able to support even deeper now because of what happened. And I know there's still so many people out there who are fighting this deadly disease, and I just want to do all I can to help and be there.
I had the privilege of meeting your mom at the Pro Bowl last year. I was so glad I got to be a part of that game and got to meet her and meet your family. She passed not too long after that, so it's pretty special that you got to have that week together as a family. And I know she had a big impact on your life, obviously, and she was so proud of you as a football player. But she's still watching, and I know she saw that touchdown on Sunday, and she's smiling, and you keep making her proud, not only for the player you are, but the person you are. So we're standing with you. I know it's been a tough year dealing with that, but we're with you, man. And thanks so much for coming on the show. Really appreciate your time.
I appreciate you, Kirk. Thank you, man.